Welcome to csc121. This is our exercise 8, which is the random number guesser. And it's a simple exercise that introduces the randint function. It uses a while loop. It uses an if-else statement with a break and a continue and a print output. And it's just reviewing some things we've done in the past. And it's also using a module, which we haven't done before. So if you look here, we have import random, and that brings in something called the random module. And when we use it, we have to specify the prefix of the name. So we have to say the randint function coming from the random module. And there's different ways to do that, but for now this is fine. This brings in everything from random, but we just have to specify random when we do that. So we're making a variable called random, and it's being assigned to whatever random integer is being generated, and that random integer is being generated between 1 and 10, inclusive of 1 and 10. So it'll generate a number from 1 to 10 and include 1 and 10. So that number is going to be generated, and then we're going to run a loop, and we're just going to input and just try to guess the number. Now the number isn't going to change. It's going to be one number that's generated, and we're just going to guess it. So you could just start with 1 and guess up to 10 and take that many, or you could try to guess the number right off the bat. So however you want to do that, and we're going to count the guesses by using a counter. So we just made a variable called count. We start at 0 outside the loop. And then inside the loop, every time we guess, we add to that, we increment. So we use count plus equals 1, which is the same as count equals count plus 1. So every time we guess, it's going to add to that counter. And then after we guess, it's going to validate the guess and saying, okay, is the guess you made the same as the random number? And if it is, we're going to break out of the loop and print the statement, the final statement down here. And then if not, we're going to say else, which means if not, then we could say, please try again. Now you don't have to have please try again here. I just threw that in extra. And there's also a continue statement, which restarts the loop. Now keep in mind, if you didn't have an else statement here, it would still rerun the loop. Because if this was not met and it didn't break it, remember the loop would continue. A while true loop is always true. So it's always going to keep running until you break it. So if you didn't guess the number, it's just going to keep going on and on and on. So technically you don't need the else, but it's nice to at least to understand the concept of the break and continue and see how they work. That break breaks out of the loop, continue continues and restarts the loop. And then we can also put a little message in here with the else statement. And it's nice to keep if else together in a pair like that. And our output statement basically is an F string. We put the F in front of the quote. We have curly braces where we have some variables. We have the count variable. So whatever it's at when we finally guess the number, it's going to display that. And then it's going to display the random number so we know what that was, just to confirm. So just to run this, I'll guess 1. And it says, please try again. So it went to else, so it's wrong. So it went to else, it said, please try again. And it went to continue and went up and started again. So now I'll say 2, and it's number 2. So 2 came up as the random number because 2 is showing up as random number, and it took 2 guesses because that's my count variable. So that's how that works. Let's just try it again. And it's nice sometimes to even print out the random number. I use this one here that's commented out. I use that for a test sometimes, just to see what the random number is, just to make sure there's no problems, but maybe I'll start with 3. It says, please try again. I'll try 5. And it was number 5. So I went with odd numbers that time, and it only took me 2 guesses. So it seems to be working okay. So that's about it with this random number guesser. It's just a review, and it's introducing the random module, and we're going to use more modules. We even have a choice function that we could use from the random module that can use strings and things like that. And again, we're using a counter, so we've been using counters, and we're using a while loop, which is while true, which means it will run indefinitely until we break it. And we do have a way to break it here. When we're correct, we break it. When we're wrong, we print a message to try again, and we continue. And then we just have an output statement. And notice the output statement is outside the loop. So once the loop is finished, then it actually prints the statement down here using the F string. So that's pretty much it with the random number guesser, just a review of some content that we've been working on in Programming 1.